In this video, let us learn about Chandrayaan 3. It was launched by Indian Space Research Organization on 14th July 2023 from Sriharikota Satish Dhawan Space Center, which is in Andhra Pradesh. It is India's third lunar mission. After soft landing Chandrayaan 3, it will become the world's first lunar mission to reach the moon's south pole. It is a follow-up mission of Chandrayaan 2. The satellite of Chandrayaan 3 was carried by LBM-3, also known as GSLV Mark 3. So far, we have conducted 3 lunar missions, including Chandrayaan 3. As we all know, Chandrayaan 1 was launched in 2008 with an aim to collect 3D mapping and mineral mapping of the moon. The satellite of Chandrayaan 1 was carried by PSLV C-11. In this mission, we discovered that water is in the frozen state in the moon and also the hydroxyl on the lunar surface. Chandrayaan 2 was launched in 2019 to explore lunar south pole. Though the lander and rover crashed on the moon's surface because of a software glitch that appeared in the last minute, the orbiter of Chandrayaan 2 is still in the moon's orbit. It has collected the data signatures of moon at all latitudes. The satellite of Chandrayaan 2 was carried by GSLV Mark 3 M1. Chandrayaan 3 is our third lunar mission. The mission objectives of Chandrayaan 3 are to demonstrate safe and soft landing on the lunar surface, to demonstrate a rover roving on the moon, to conduct on-site scientific experiments, to explore the moon's south pole. So, why are we focusing on the moon's south pole? Through the data we got from Chandrayaan 1, we came to know that water is in the frozen state in the permanently shadowed region of the moon. So, what are permanently shadowed regions? If you see the moon's south pole, there are many craters which have never seen the sunlight till now. These craters are very deep and hence the sunlight cannot enter into it. The sunlight in the south pole will also be very less. So the frozen waters will be essential for future human missions and to use the lunar resources potentially. The permanently shadowed regions must have a preserved record of the moon's history and early solar system. Do you know how the moon was formed? It is believed that a large-sized planet collided with the Earth in its early stage and a lot of debris came as the result of it. All those debris combined together and they formed as moon. This is what they believe as the history of moon. The moon's south pole remains unexplored and undisturbed, so we can get the insights into the materials and conditions that existed during the formation of the Earth-Moon system. It is also useful for our future collaborations. LUPEX is an Indo-Japan collaboration which is planning to send a lander and a rover to moon's south pole in 2024. There are some challenges to land the lander and rover on the moon's south pole. Let us see why. All the previous soft landing missions were done in the equatorial region of the moon because of its favorable terrain and operating conditions. So far, only 3 countries have done soft landing on the moon. After we soft land on the moon, India will join them as a 4th country to soft land on the moon after Russia, America and China. And India will be also the very first country to reach the south pole of the moon. The south pole of the moon has totally different and more challenging terrain. Sunlight is also very scarce in some polar regions. In the permanently shadowed regions, temperature can go up to -230 degrees Celsius. Due to the lack of sunlight and extreme cold conditions, it is difficult for the instruments to operate also. So what are the features of Chandrayaan 3? We are just using the orbiter of Chandrayaan 2, which is in active condition, and it is still orbiting in the moon's orbit. The lander Vikram can study about lunar quakes, thermal properties of the lunar surface, changes in plasma, that is ions and electrons, near the lunar surface, and it will also calculate the accurate distance between the moon and the earth. The rover Pragyan will come out of the lander once it is soft landed on the moon, and it will move and collect soil samples, conduct soil experiments, take pictures and map the lunar surface. We have also added an experimental payload, that is spectropolarimeter and habitable planet Earth, which will search if there are any smaller planets with potential habitability by analyzing reflected lights. Let us see how Chandrayaan 3 is different from Chandrayaan 2. We have just developed Chandrayaan 3 from a failure-based approach. We literally analyzed what went wrong last time, and we have developed Chandrayaan 3 to overcome all those situations. Rover Pragyan has hazard detection and avoidance system. Just think, if the Pragyan is roving on the moon's surface and there are some big rocks in its path, it will not just go and hit there. It will identify the rocks and move. It is like the accident avoidance system which comes in the cars right now. Last time we fixed a location and tried to land the lander there. Now we have added more fuel to the lander, and if something happens and the lander cannot land in the fixed location, it can just move further or to alternate locations and land safely there. We have also added solar panels on 4 sides instead of 2. So solar panels in all 4 sides will increase the chance of getting charged by sunlight. The laser Doppler velocimeter will fire the laser beams to lunar surface to calculate the lunar speed. Assume this is a lander and the lander is dropping very faster. This lunar Doppler velocimeter will fire the laser and calculate how fast it is dropping down, and it will adjust the lander speed according to that. The lander is fed with high resolution pictures captured by Chandrayaan 2 orbiter, and it does not depend only on the pictures taken by the lander during the descent to determine the landing site. Let us see some of the other types of moon missions. Totally there are 6 types of moon missions. Flybys are just like spacecrafts. They just pass near the moon without entering its orbit, and it observes from a distance. Pioneer 3-4 by United States of America, Lunar 3 by USSR are examples of flybys. Orbiters, we have seen them in Chandrayaan 1 and 2. They enter into lunar orbit and conduct studies about lunar surface and atmosphere. Impact missions are just uncontrolled landing done on the moon's surface, thereby providing valuable data before being destroyed. Chandrayaan 1's moon impact probe is the best example of it. Landers, we have seen them, they just soft land and conduct close observations. Lunar 9 by USSR was the first lander to land on the moon successfully in 1966. Rovers, they will just move around independently and conduct experiments, collect samples from the lunar surface. Human missions, it's just like sending astronauts to land on the moon. They will conduct experiments and they will collect samples and come back to Earth. Only NASA has done this 6 times so far, from 1969 to 1972. NASA's Artemis 3 will mark the humans' return to the moon in 2025. So with this, I'm concluding this video. I hope now you have learned something about the Chandrayaan 3 mission. See you all in the next video.